Fit in 10 Nation, it is day 24, which means we are officially, at least formally speaking, 1/3 through the challenge. Now I want to remind you that the challenge does get, as we move on here, we can expect for things to kind of go up a bit more intensely in terms of your results, okay? So yes, time-wise, we are 1/3 through. But in terms of your results, you can expect a bit more as the challenge goes on, okay? This is a general statement, of course. All right, so listen, some things I want to mention here. Numbers matching, yes, I want you to try to get within 10% of your macros. So all your macros that I list, of course, I'm not speaking to all of you because some of you are doing very good getting your macros in terms of matching the numbers that I want you to get. But still, some of you are all over the place. Some days you're high in fat, some days you're low in fat. Some days you get your numbers or some of the numbers. Some days you're way over your carbs, you're way under your carbs, you're over your calories, you're under your calories. So you just, what this tells me is clearly you are not planning this out. You're just kind of winging it and then seeing, oh, this is where I end up. And I can expect this for the first week or two, but at this point we should be getting those numbers. Okay, so it's just a matter of planning things out. Again, you got to look at your carbohydrate strong foods, your protein strong foods, and to some degree your fat strong foods. I say to some degree because there's obviously fat in a lot of the foods that you eat, so just be very, very careful with this. Okay, so you just got to plan it out. Put in a carbohydrate strong food. Well, let's take one step back here. Look at the amount of macros that you have for each, for your carbohydrates, for your proteins, for your fats, and then just subdivide it into 3-4 meals and just try to get those to match. It's really not that hard, especially when you incorporate a protein strong, a fat strong, let's leave fat out, a protein strong and a carbohydrate strong food in each meal, okay? And don't be, as I said yesterday, don't be worried about eating carbohydrates at night, okay? You got to plan and prepare. The people that plan and prepare, typically speaking, the people that plan and prepare do much better in the challenge. Okay, you can't wing this challenge. You cannot wing it. Okay. All right. Something else I just want to touch upon here is weights. I did take a look at some of the feedback here, so maybe I'll go to that because this is kind of related. So I'll read you some feedback here. This person writes, I am trying to be 100%. By the way, I am a week behind here for the feedback. All right, so just keep sending it in. That doesn't mean you don't have to send it in. Send it in. I will always be a little bit behind. This is great because I always have some stuff to answer as the videos go on. So make sure you send in your feedback. So this person says, I'm trying to be 100% with nutrition. I think I am 95%. I feel my fat intake is high, and I will attempt to get more calories from other sources. So again, we're just trying to match those macros. I know with this person in particular, you're doing very good. You're almost dead on with your macros. Like, you're doing excellent. So don't feel bad about where you're at with your diet. You're doing great. When I say this person's doing great, it means what? It means that they're almost getting the amount of protein that I give them per day, they're almost on the mark, or they're on the mark. And the same with the fat and the same with the carbs. Okay? Name something specific you need help with. Could use some advice on recovery time and lowering fat intake. All right, so recovery time, what do you mean? Recovery time between sets? Or recovery time between workouts? I'm assuming you're talking about recovery time between workouts. So I'm going to go on that assumption. So your recovery time, first of all, if you work a muscle and it's still sore, doesn't mean you're going to injure yourself. Listen, injury, well, I'm jumping ahead here. Let's just say this. When it comes to working out, say a specific area of your body, generally speaking, I'd like you to do it it's fine if you're getting 48 hours or 72 hours of rest. There's nothing wrong with that, especially as a beginner. As you become more advanced, probably give you more rest time. I know you might be like, what? That doesn't make sense. But in the beginning, you just don't really know how to execute things right. You don't really know how to fully exert. It may not be fair for me to say that. Let me put it. I'm not putting it in the right words. You're just learning how to do things. And so in order to really execute on the muscles, that takes time. Okay, it just takes time. So, generally speaking, your exertion might be 80% of, actually what you could potentially do. And that potentially will just come with more time training. Okay, so you can train a little more frequently. Of course, I would keep your volume down. We tend to keep the volume less on these workouts. We're not doing 4 exercises for hamstrings or 4 exercises for quads or anything like that, right? We're just kind of doing a couple exercises for these areas or for a certain group of muscles, and that's it. So recovery time here between workouts, minimum 48 hours. I think 72 would be a really good number to shoot for. So you're doing 3 workouts per week. So let's just run through this. Let's say you work out on a Monday and you're doing an A workout. Of course, you work out on a Tuesday. It's not the same workout, right? It's a B workout. It's different muscles. So you can train the next day. That's fine. And then say you're training a Thursday or Friday. You're going back to that A or B workout. You're getting at least 48 hours of rest, if not 72 hours of rest. So you're totally fine there. Okay, nothing wrong with that. In terms of exerting yourself, certainly in the beginning you don't really have to exert like crazy. Again, this is a relativity thing. So if you've gone from doing nothing and then now you're starting to do some presses with, 12 pounds, that's, even though it may not feel super hard, you're still going to get something out of it. But that will quickly plateau, and then of course we need to add more resistance, right? So, but I don't think we should be scared. Don't be afraid of pushing yourself, okay? You will not get injured by pushing yourself. I'm going to say it again. You will not get injured by pushing yourself. You will get injured. You will get injured by not being in control of the weight, by not having proper form, by perhaps having a bit of a sporadic cadence, using too heavy of a weight so your form is off. The mechanics of the body, your positioning, depending on the movement that you're doing, these things can lead to injury, but pushing yourself is not going to lead to injury. Okay? Pushing yourself will not lead to injury. Okay? Now, if you train really, really hard over an extended period of time, you probably want to give yourself, a couple weeks of what we would call like a deload or an easier period of weights. Just give your nervous system a break, give your joints a bit of a break. That's normal. But this idea that you're going to, I'm pushing myself, I'm going to injure myself, when your form and, your style of execution, your cadence, your control, all of this is accounted for, you will not injure yourself, okay? And this is what I always tell you guys. Train as heavy as you can within the rep range that I give you. Well, it's okay if you don't quite do this in terms of using maximal weight, but always the idea here is to use as much weight as you can for the exercise and the rep range that I give you, given proper form, proper cadence, proper positioning of the body, proper control, all of this stuff. Okay? So this is where things can get a bit mixed up. Okay? I'm already 9.5 minutes? Really? Okay, I thought this was going to be a shorter video. Man, I have no problem talking clearly. Advice on lowering fat intake. Eat lower fat foods. Eat lower fat foods. Just look at the foods that you're eating. I know this may not help you on the surface, but look, this is part of the program here. Learn look at the foods you're eating and just look at what's in there. Okay, map it out on paper. Okay, if you're getting 40 grams of fat per day, you're eating 4 meals per day, let's say. That's 10 grams of fat on average per meal. You know, let's say plus or minus a couple grams. That's what you got. Just, you know, it's just math and then you learning foods. Now, if you want me to go through some low-fat foods, I can do that. Maybe I'll do it on another video because we're at 10.5 minutes. So maybe I'll come back to this on our next video, okay? All right. Okay, message of the day. Message of the day is one of my favorites. I think I always say this is one of my favorites. I have a lot of favorites here, I guess. Let's see here. But I do really like this one. And it goes like this. Behind every successful person, there are a lot of unsuccessful years. Behind every successful person, there are a lot of unsuccessful years. Okay? So, if you are not seeing what you consider to be success in your massive 22 days into the challenge, or 23 days. Oh, I guess we're 24 now. But you know what I'm saying, right? It's been a very short time. All right? You are making progress. So whether you think you are, at this point, successful in the challenge or not, is really neither here nor there. You are making progress. You are many steps ahead today, much farther ahead than you were from day one. You know how things work more now. You know how to train better. You know how to account for your food better. It may not be perfect right now, but you know how to account for it better. So you have progressed. Okay? And this is all arsenal to help you in the future, going forward. Okay? Behind every successful person, there are a lot of unsuccessful years. This really applies to anything and everything. Okay? Generally speaking. Positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself for the love of God, give some gratitude. I will talk to you guys all very soon. See you guys.